All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back live for another episode of the Big Gold Belt Wrestling Podcast. It's two James here, along with fellow hosts Silly Sellis and D Wayne. We're fresh off election night 2016, which was a long night for a lot of people, and I'm kind of like still fatigued from it. But we're here as usual, getting ready to talk some wrestling because that keeps everybody happy, and there's always fun there. So. Before we start, again, we want to bring awareness to. First, we'd like to tell you why. Why every month we change our banner to bring awareness to whatever that respective month is. And for the month of November, happens to be awareness for pancreatic cancer. So if you see BGB went purple, we went purple for that, not for the cruiserweight. So I want to make that very clear. And for any of y'all that know that, we are definitely proactive in our community as far as bringing awareness to others, obviously for viewers and friends of the show, and for our personal life as well. Silly Sellers want to add anything to that?
Yeah, just to make notice to everybody, breast cancer back in the 1980s is where pancreatic cancer is now. It's very early in its research stages, but progressive stages have at least some type of medicine or healing for it, but it's still a long ways away, and it's one of the underfunded cancers that are out here in the society that goes along with lung cancer and other forms of cancer. So just to bring awareness, curepc.com is a great resource to try to figure out what you can do to pancreatic cancers, and check out Purple Stride, a lot of organizations that do walks and marathons on behalf of people fighting it. And
did we lose you there?
no, I'm here.
It sounded like you got cut off there.
Oh, no, good.
Okay, my bad. Just repeat that last part just in case, because I feel like I didn't hear the last part.
Yep. You can definitely check out the Purple Stride and check out your local organizations to see where you can support Purple Stride, which are like marathons or walks in your area, and it does it year round. And it's definitely a good cause to help people that are battling or that to support them with pancreatic cancer.
As well as you can check the official pancreatic cancer Twitter handle at PanCanResearch if you have any questions. And if not, if that's too hard, give us a show. You can DM us. We can plug into something. Like I said, we're advocates for it, and just trying to spread awareness for whatever the respective month is, and even for even if it's not that month, but we just want you guys to know that's why we're changing it for that reason. So, but anywho, we're inching closer to Survivor Series, and we got the big fantasy match with Brock and Goldberg, but there's not much discussion to talk about there. I mean, Monday we do get the face-to-face, which, like we've been saying for weeks, we wish this has been spread out a little bit, but nonetheless, inevitable, that's going to happen. So we're not going to have much to talk about there, and there's not much discussion and debate to go there anyway. So what's the fun in that? But number one, I'm gonna plug this. That the WWE 2K17 officially did release that patch. So gameplay is a little bit more stable, and I'm a little bit more happy about that. So you can now progress in your career without being in jeopardy of losing it all, which is a scary thing, but that's that. Also, for people that did not pre-reserve it, you can now download the Goldberg character in the two WCW arenas as well for $5 in your respective game store for whatever console you own. So a lot of people missed out on that, didn't get to get Goldberg. There was a lot of Twitter tweets going around asking for codes and stuff like that. So I figured I'd just help people out to know that now you can officially get it for just $5, whatever. So anyway, the boys together tonight. What's the big hot topic, Sellers?
People may not like this hot topic, but I feel like it's a good way to see it in two perspectives. I know we're just coming off the election. I do not mean this in a political way, but I want to compare who would you choose as far as having a more successful show between Shane and Stephanie. Who would you choose? Would you go with Team SmackDown and would you go with Team Raw? And I'm going to put that as a two-part question saying, did Shane do the right thing as far as being on top of this or being involved in this 5-on-5 Survivor Series match and taking Baron Corbin out? Was that the right move?
Okay, so Baron Corbin blocked us. So I'm still to this day will be salty about that, and I want him to know that I don't appreciate it. But there's a lot of other people that's also in the block list, so it's kind of cool because you kind of feel cool because you're exiled with these other cool people as well. So I'm with that, but come on, Barry, like you can't be salty over a couple of tweets on some bad promotion you did in your early days. Like, come on now, like come on. But I mean, what? How am I supposed to feel about Shane taking over Baron Corbin? Baron Corbin's obviously a wrestler, and I thought that when you think about your 5 versus my best 5, I mean, you do get the intimidation factor about somebody who is, one, of athletic build, and 2, a taller guy. So I thought it was like more of a, and not even to mention too, he might be the only person that might be able to get Braun Strowman, some eye-to-eye competition, like as far as body mass and height and all that. So, and plus it's intrigued with that as well from, what was that? Was it the Andre the Giant Memorial?
Yep.
It was something they stared off at, and there was a lot of intrigue from fans. So I was looking forward to that. So I'm not buying Shane being in there. I gotta say, Daniel Bryan looked kind of sad, saying like, I'm unable to wrestle, because that would have been tight. I would have been all for that.
And you could have spun it around with The Miz too, if The Miz would have been involved in that match by not being part of the 5 from SmackDown and eliminating Bryan or causing SmackDown to go down early. That could be a good side piece where you can have The Miz and Bryan touch hands a little bit outside the ring as a prelude for a WrestleMania match, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Daniel Bryan, I feel like from watching Total Bellas and just from what I'm seeing on SmackDown, he's very down on his luck about not being in the ring. And I just feel like at some point we do get to see him back in the ring maybe for one more match, really safely guarded. But I don't think the story is over for him, the fact that they're rubbing it so much. I mean, right. Think about it. Anybody with depression don't want to hear about how depressed they are or the depressing factor to keep being rubbed in their face. So I'm thinking there is some play in that. But as far as your question, though, I mean, I have to say honestly that the more intriguing people on Raw, so I have to say Stephanie drafted better, but the better show is SmackDown. I kind of look at SmackDown as something like a more substantial NXT, with well-known names, but the flow is about the same,
Right.
But I don't know. I gotta say your question's a little vague, so I'm gonna have you to come back in there to explain with me which one would I pick, because I don't think either one of them are substantially outshining the other. Because like I said, the talent's on one, the flow's on the other, and I mean, what I could say, oh well, Stephanie's good, but look, think about how the mishandled the cruiserweights has went. That's an automatic strike on one side.
Hey, it doesn't matter. I'm writing in a vote. Triple H. In the discussion, I won.
Well,
writing in votes.
Well, let me ask this then, and let's think about it. The reason why I got this concept of question, because I was thinking about that gimmick where Triple H got the approval rating where it was like thumbs up and thumbs down. And you remember that led to where Triple H and Sheamus at the beginning of Raw was like, okay, we're going to make this work if they only believe in me. And Triple H and Sheamus was in the ring while Miz did commentary. CM Punk did commentary. That's what I'm looking for. Like, would your approval rating be thumbs up, thumbs down versus Stephanie and Shane? Or who would you say has the ultimate advantage when it comes to doing the right thing and running their own show?
Hey, you said who am I voting for? I'm voting for none of them. I'm going with Triple H.
So where does Triple H rank in this? I mean, how does he get involved? We haven't seen Triple H in how long?
Doesn't matter.
Well, if talk about the flow of the show, I mean, is he really having an impact on the show? Is he helping Stephanie with Raw? Or as like 2 Chainz says, if SmackDown's like a next NXT 2.0, the real professional version, is he helping out with that?
I don't know what Triple H is going to be honest with you. Nobody knows.
I mean,
and that's the great part about it. Like, nobody knows.
I mean, overall, though, I would have to give my thumbs up approval rating advantage to to Shane, and it still has to come back to what is WWE trying to do with their cruiserweights. Now, one of the stipulations that's been added to the Survivor Series match is where you have Kalisto is facing the Brian Kendrick. The whole cruiserweight division comes to SmackDown. Now, how is that going to work with SmackDown still being a 2-hour show? If that was to happen, I don't think Kalisto's going to win. But let's say if it did happen,
I mean,
switch on the weight to SmackDown.
No. You can't. It's hard for you to say that you don't think it's going to happen because if the possibility that Intercontinental Championship could be switching brands,
right?
Cruiserweight. You know, and don't get confused that also that next following hour of SmackDown becomes 205 Live. Now, granted, I don't know how it's going to be recorded quite yet, but if that show is tailored on the back of SmackDown, like, you know, if it is just completely a different show, but is after SmackDown, consider that the commentary crew will be the same commentary crew for SmackDown, then the belt's already in the arena. You know what I mean?
Right, that's true.
So it's a possibility. You can go either way.
I just want to see if they're going to move the whole cruiserweight division over to SmackDown. And SmackDown's a 2-hour show. Are you really going to take time to have this cruiserweight division going to build storylines into your 2-hour time slot on top of already building storylines of what you got? So that's the good thing about SmackDown. As you said, you have SmackDown has a good flow with their main event title, which is the WWE World Heavyweight title. You have a great feud with the Intercontinental title. And then your tag team division is hit and miss, but you can afford that because you have more than enough players that can be involved in that tag team picture. And then you have your high-level non-belt feuds going on with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, whatever they're doing with that. So you have 4 solid feuds, and not even to mention the women's title, which I'm really getting high on Alexa Bliss and what she's doing right now. So you have 5 great stable of feuds going around your major components of the show. How do you fit your cruiserweight division in there?
I mean, because the flow is there, okay? SmackDown's going to be SmackDown, but, you know, like I said, 205, if 205 is added to the end of the show, it doesn't quite necessarily interrupt what happens in the first 2 hours. Now, granted, if somebody like Kalisto is on SmackDown roster, to him to just have a match on the show, I don't think it's going to be all purpled out and all that other good stuff. It'll just be a regular match, which it should. That's how it should be.
Gotcha.
And they'll maintain the flow the same way. You know what I mean? So,
right.
I put it this way. I could be wrong, but I put it this way until more information comes out. So if SmackDown goes 2 hours, goes off the air, and then we get Talking Smack, in that meantime is the time where they could change and do all the arena appearances that they need to do. That doesn't mess up the flow of the show. That creates another show at the end of the show, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? Think about how SmackDown or how Raw used to do with All Stars. All Stars used to get recorded before Raw went on air, so it's pretty much the same thing. You know. And then I think SmackDown, which is the Atlanta opportunity, gives some of the cruiserweights the opportunity to fight people in I guess we'll say in other weight classes. So you do get the character development that you really want, you know, because you get to see these people who were just cruiserweight this, cruiserweight that. Now actually get to say like who this person is, and you have Morrow calling them, who would do a better job than anybody on that SmackDown announce team. I mean, Raw announce team. So I don't know. So we can I go ahead.
I just put on Twitter. If people can answer the question while we're on live, would you be in favor of the cruiserweight division being on SmackDown? And we'll see what type of comments we get as people vote.
So, what do you think? What do you mean by that question, though? Because they're not going to go on SmackDown. They're going to go on their own show. Are you asking? Are you okay with seeing cruiserweights wrestling on SmackDown? And the obvious answer is yes, because you already see them.
Well, let me edit the question and let's go to would you see them as their own division? on SmackDown. I guess that would be my leeway.
Nobody wants that. That's exactly why 205 is happening, because they know creative dropped the ball in the momentum coming from the Cruiserweight Classic, the calling of the matches, the character development, everything went wrong on Raw. Therefore, they said this needs to be their own show, which is the correct answer to intrigue for the network, to buy for the network, to keep the excitement like it was from the CWC. But now that you're seeing Kalisto getting involved, which in this case is storytelling, so to say, and proper booking, where you just have people get in there without making it a big hoopla, is what you want. But instead, you're going to have it on the other way, where you're going to see like Cedric disappear on SmackDown, but it ain't going to be purpled out, you know?
Right. I got you.
So, you know, one cruiserweight match, or not even just one cruiserweight match, but the appearance of one cruiserweight in the match on SmackDown is a job well done to me.
All right, let me ask this question then. Is this match on the pre-show, or does it need to be on the main card?
What match?
The Kalisto match at Survivor Series.
Come on now. Kalisto is the pre-show king. Unless he can wrestle.
But don't you think it would do great justice if this was on the main card? Like, for example, this show is only 3 hours still, right? It hasn't extended its time, has it? It's still 8 to 11?
I don't know. I believe somebody told me it's going to be 7. Oh, it is, because Jamal was telling me that his ticket says 5 o'clock, which I'm assuming that means 5 o'clock that the doors open. That means they pretty much want people to be seated around 6 and 7 they go.
And where's this again? Where's the location of the venue?
Toronto,
that's right. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. That's right. Okay, gotcha.
So moving forward though, with the intrigue of Survivor Series, I guess let's just get into it. Just Shane McMahon becoming now. No. Let's start with Raw, with Sami Zayn not being the 5th man, which was the heavily rumored of last week, just for Seth Rollins, which I was like, I wonder what's going to happen with Seth Rollins, who is now the 5th person. I mean, is that the right decision?
I think it absolutely is. If you're Raw, like you said, Raw drafted well. Put your 5 best players out there on your field, because that's what you want to do. You want to prove that your show, your players, your roster is better than SmackDown. I have no wrongdoing against putting Seth as that last person.
How good is Braun Strowman right now?
I'm honestly still not sold. I'm seeing Snitsky all day long.
And that just happens to be your guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
His name every once so often comes out of your name.
It does. I mean, Snitsky, when he had the yellow teeth and everything, his gimmick worked, but it just didn't work.
I like Braun. I think that they are building him up actually the right way, for real.
Yeah, I'm liking Braun too, and I'm liking the fact that when they did have that fatal 5-way match before it happened, I like the fact that Stephanie McMahon brought up the probability of certain occurrences in old feuds to be relived again, with the Shield, with the Wyatt family, and something else you brought up. But I thought that was cool, because that's all the kind of the stuff that we was kind of thinking, like, oh, what's going to happen with that, and so on, so on. So I expect that match to be a solid 45-minute match that's going to tell a lot of story in it, and it should be good. But it's only going to be good if the pieces of the puzzle is done correctly. So I feel like Raw's roster is as good as it should be, or could be. I didn't think Sami Zayn fit the mold, so it's good to see that Seth is being used right in this situation. And then that leaves Sami Zayn to challenge for Dolph Ziggler's Intercontinental Championship, which I thought was a whole good ordeal anyway, for it to be an open challenge to the other roster. But that leaves Rusev and Lana now, Rusev has been really good over the last, I don't even know how long, but he's been really good. Top-notch heel, cut better promo. Where does it leave that guy?
He has to get a main title shot somewhere. Like, for example, he could be somebody that could be an in-between champion somewhere, maybe in between now and the Royal Rumble, just as a quick champion, or maybe between the Royal Rumble and Fastlane, if that's the paper I would have. I think he could be like a quick 2-week champion.
Hold on. I thought you just took a few shots at what you just said right now.
What do you mean take a few shots?
You take a few shots. Because that's a lot of wishful thinking right there. Let's get this straight.
No,
you know what
that could be. Is that thinking?
This is about to do? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I mean, he could do something.
No, he's not going to do nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Matter of fact, let me ask you, Wayne, do you know what Rusev is doing right now? Do you know what he's doing? He's actually doing the same thing Kevin Owens did before Kevin Owens became the Universal Champion. Losing, not going to do anything.
He's not Kevin Owens, though.
Oh, no. Are you giving props to Kevin Owens now?
No. You want to know why?
He is.
Because
yes, he is.
I know. You want to know why? Because Chris Jericho is the greatest, and he overshadows Kevin Owens.
Chris Jericho just put you on the list for saying that.
No. Actually, he probably didn't put me on the list for saying that he's great.
No, he put you on the list for trying to suck up to him. No, we all know Chris Jericho is great, but Chris Jericho does not need the title right now. He's doing everything he needs as a veteran.
He should have the title. He should have the title.
Oh man, if he had the title, man. You know what? Jericho has been phenomenal on all angles. There's not even enough time in the day to talk about how good he's been since his reappearance back in time is flying way past that. But it's about a year and a half. But he's been good. Like I always say, he was always rumored to be a part-timer, burying new talent. But look, how good has he been? Honestly, like this is not enough credit for that guy. He's great.
He's made Kevin Owens like a solid championship run. Like, this is a great championship run for your Universal title. Like, Chris Jericho has helped Kevin Owens make that title legitimate, and Kevin Owens is doing his thing by performing in the ring.
But here's my issue with that. My thing is, it's not a great title win. It's an okay title win. The reason I'm saying is because I feel as if Chris Jericho wasn't here, it wouldn't be the same effect. And I feel at this point, I would rather see Chris Jericho with the title. And I feel like they're going to end up feuding. And honestly, I'll be very much satisfied if Chris Jericho had the title.
But think about this, though. When The Rock had his title when he was part of the corporation, this kind of helped The Rock be solidified as a true champion. Because remember, The Rock was borderline in that, okay, can he be over the top? Can he be that number one guy? And Vince McMahon kind of helped build Rock for The Rock to be who he is today with that title run with the corporation. Don't sleep on that. So when you have somebody to help somebody, it kind of can build them on their own. So it's very comparable.
Yeah, it's comparable in a way, but in a sense, when I remember that time frame, I still don't get as much overshadowing from Vince as I do from Chris Jericho.
Almost the same. You saw Big Boss and wherever he was.
That's because Vince was a supreme heel, and Chris Jericho is not coming off as a heel at all, which is great. He's in a great area, but the fans love to hate him, and that is whatever he's doing is magic. Okay, if I had to really look at the Raw roster, who's over, like currently active right now, like New Day is like a 1, and Chris Jericho's like a 1B easily.
Ooh.
Easily.
What would you?
I got a good topic after this as well too. But before we get completely off the question I asked, I got to give credit. And I would not steal credit for this, so I'm going to give credit from at the _David Conrad. He made a good tweet earlier a couple of days ago that I said I was going to say on the show, was that he said he kind of feels like Rusev and Braun should trade places, where Rusev should be on the team and Braun should be challenging Sammy for the title shot, which I thought not only just is that such a good idea, but that also could have been pre-show material for that match to actually happen on the card. And even if it did just happen on Raw, Braun Strowman versus The Miz is perfect storytelling. The monster versus the guy who just had to keep on trying. To David and Goliath. You get what I'm saying? Like the way how Dolph had to keep going against The Miz to finally get over to win the championship, just to have to run into a monster to prove that he can get the job done for real. Him beating Braun makes him look stellar, and The Miz won't have much to say about how he doesn't bring prestige to the title anymore. But beating Braun, the way how they're booking him, not even just that. If somebody had no knowledge of Goldberg, but you look at what everybody's telling you about Goldberg, and you're looking at how they're doing Braun right now, you kind of say like Braun is being booked like the premature Goldberg right now, a monster tirade beating everybody in his path who was supposed to be a heel, but you know that quite didn't work, and just winning, just to see somebody underdog go and beat him. I mean, I thought it would make Dolph look really good. So, but again, with all the work that Rusev's been doing, I thought that he deserved to have been on the roster. He was just a champion, and I just thought it made more sense, you know. If they was going to take Braun off, of course. But I do like Braun. I do like Braun being on it as well too, because I just like Braun. So whatever. But before I cut you off, my question I was thinking about, and I was going to text you like yesterday, is that Finn Balor is being announced to be coming up on a Raw sometime soon.
Yep.
With all this being said, and Finn being out for the time he's been out, do you think they get it right this second time reintroducing Finn the way they should have done it the first time?
I think it loses the effect on it because we all know who he is now. But one thing you still cannot do, you cannot give his entrance a free performance on Raw. You have to make it network worthy. Like, for example, when we saw Undertaker's entrances as far as the real Demon entrances, they always came on pay-per-view. They never gave him the best ever entrance on a Raw. You can't do that because it takes away the special moment he has. Like, for example, NXT, he never gave his entrance unless it was at an NXT takeover.
So Full Sail crowd is totally different. So you know there's an argument there. But I mean, you had to let the Raw people know who he was. So I get it. I didn't like it, but I get it. But now that they know who he is, they got to do it right this time now. That's how I'm looking at it.
Here's my thing about it. We know that his entrance is something special. And we know that it was forced because of the whole suspension. And Vince McMahon changing his mind and saying, "Oh," and they had to do something quick in order to build for that match. But I think this time they're going to treat that entrance with a little bit more care than they did, and you'll see the normal Finn Balor until we get to these pay-per-views or these major. He might not even bring out the Demon to the major pay-per-views. We don't know. I feel like if they do it that way, that would be much better. It's just a way of getting him relevant again. Because I mean, not saying that we forgot about him, but some people may have forgot about him.
So what do we get from him on his return? That's the real question.
I think he has to return. Even though you just mentioned he might return to Raw, I think he doesn't need to return until like a pay-per-view for like a title match. So it's like an excitement. Oh my God, that's Finn! Something like that. I think that's the best. And bring him back heel. I think the best way to bring him back is a heel.
No, you can't bring him back heel.
Not at all. I think they got to do what they did with Emma. They got to put him on a couple of house shows and just bank for the right time. Do not rush it prematurely because, I mean, at this rate, if you bring him out, he's not going to do good mic work, and he's not going to be able to do good mic work against Kevin Owens. And then the other scariest factor of the whole thing is that he's not going to be able to do good mic work against Chris Jericho.
No.
Which is a
scenario. But here's the thing, and and I'm going to go stereotypical right here. What is the event that a lot of people come back at?
The Rumble.
That's coming up.
The Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble.
I think that's a good. I definitely think that's a good spot. He'll get a pop. Oh, could you imagine? He could do whatever interest he wants. Matter of fact, his demon interest might take the whole 90 seconds, so that might not be a good idea.
Yeah, I suggest to keep away from that entrance to the Royal Rumble.
That's right. We in there. Royal Rumble 2017. A week after my birthday, so we'll be fun. I'm still kind of banking on should I get the Universal Championship, but Dwayne, I might got to see a big gold belt one more time because I'm really convinced that's what I really want. That's what I've been thinking about. This
entitled back by ASAP.
There's no chance I'm getting a cruiserweight. That flimsy looking belt. There's no way. Not a chance. They can sell that joint to me for $50. Not a chance. But well, wait a minute. I cut y'all off about something earlier. Y'all was talking about as far as the Raw and the SmackDown roster. Oh, so we didn't really go over the SmackDown roster, but it was something y'all was saying about the Raw roster.
Oh, about Seth being the perfect choice for him being the number 5?
Yeah, you something you were saying, but go ahead.
I mean, I just think that was the perfect choice. If like I mentioned this before, when Stephanie wants to bring her top 5 draft picks, and as D. Wayne says that maybe Raw had drafted better, you want to spotlight those guys. You bring your best guys. You don't hold anything back. So I'm cool with it.
D. Wayne,
it's absolutely the best thing that they could have done. I feel as if you can't put Sami Zayn on the team. It just wouldn't make sense to me. And then what would Seth Rollins do? I feel like it's perfect. And then you can recreate a lot of storylines in that.
Do you think that by any random chance that the fact that was leaked was an automatically abort mission type of thing?
What do you mean?
Since that graphic was leaked that Sami Zayn was the 5th person, do you think because it was leaked out and so many people found out about it that they went on an abort mission and decided to switch it up last minute? Do you think there was other bigger plans for Seth Rollins?
It could have been. It's hard to say because we get so many things that now with the internet age that it gets leaked. This is what's going to happen, and they change things at the last minute. Like Vince was almost about to pull the curtain on having a women's championship match not go last at Hell in a Cell. So it's always possible. I wouldn't take anything for granted on that.
Personally, I think that Seth Rollins was the plan all along. I'm coming to a point where I won't be surprised if WWE itself is actually the source of these leaks.
In a what?
I said I won't be surprised at all if WWE is actually the source of a lot of these leaks.
Oh, so you call it
just to throw people off.
WWE Wiki leaks? That's funny.
Just to throw
in the eye of the real world, a lot of people do leak their own information and be trying to say, "Whoops, we didn't know that happened." Like, who did that? Not like a couple of years ago. It wasn't Sony. It was somebody else that leaked their own stuff, and they try to act like they didn't.
It was Sony because it had to do with that movie. What was that Seth Rogen movie?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. What was that called? The Interview. There we go.
Yeah, an interview. Yep.
That's right. So going to SmackDown roster now. First of all, with the injured angel to Baron Corbin, like Crimea River, he can't never cut a promo about somebody else being injured if they're gonna cut a gimmick saying that he got hurt. The way how he tried to play Kalisto about that match that they were supposed to have in the pre-show, saying he was too scared to wrestle because he was hurt, so he stayed home. So Baron Corbin cannot use that no longer about somebody being hurt since they want to use that. But whatever it may be, with him being not there, I was thinking like, who else is left on the roster Then Apollo Crews made an appearance and got squashed. So I was like, oh, it can't be that guy. So that only left Jack Swagger, John Cena, like Eric Rowan, and Kurt Hawkins. I mean, I was just like, where's this going? I mean, I saw the rumors with Shane online. I was just like, no, just stop. And then I see more rumors about Shane, which we'll talk about in a second. But why Shane? I mean, is SmackDown really in the eye of giving people the opportunity, but you put your commissioner in the match? I mean, for all that, they might as well put James Ellsworth in it, right?
All right, so here's my thing. I mean, with Raw, you have your 5 best people. I'm surprised that John Cena didn't do a one-off for this.
Me too. That I really thought it was going to be John Cena. That would have been great.
I wouldn't be. It's John. I mean, it doesn't be John Cena at the end. I mean, he could come and surprise everybody and say, "Shane, let me do this. I got this. You don't have to do this." And he steps back, and Cena comes in and does his little Super Cena moment. And then that way, you finally get your versus Roman Reigns type matchup. Not saying they eliminate each other, but they can finally touch in the ring just for a hot, quick second, just to keep people to cheer and boo or whatever you want to do with those two, because they are the same.
I'm going to have to say that what's his name? Paul Heyman promo with Brock Lesnar against Goldberg was really good, and the fact that they noted to John Cena as Super Cena really tickled me a little bit, because I was like, hey, I thought that was an internet thing only. So apparently everybody does know that he is Super Cena. So
anybody, will call it like it is anyway.
Yeah, right. I really thought that was just an internet thing, calling him Super Cena, but obviously that is a real thing now. So moving forward about Shane McMahon, then, so the rumors is now saying that moving all the way forward to WrestleMania 33, that Shane is being rumored to have a match with Brock Lesnar, and that this was the ultimate setup from when he took that F5. What?
This makes no sense.
That was like, first of all, straight down. I don't want to see the man get tossed about 20 times.
He's going to do the same thing like he did with Taker. It's going to be a slow, sorry match until one gimmick moment try to make it a moment.
Yeah. Besides that, he's going to get suplexed about 20, 30 times.
He'll get up. He'll be all right.
I want to draw attention back to the Randy Orton match in that ending. I don't want to see that happen to anybody. I don't want to see it happen. I don't want to see Shane McMahon probably not know how to take a German suplex. And the fact that Shane McMahon has gray hair also gives me a stigma to think like, I don't know about this. So I'm hoping those rumors get debunked really, really quick, because I'm not finding the intrigue in that. So no, Brock Goldberg 2 or something. Could be a little bit more interesting, or 3 in this case.
Yeah, you know how we
3
about it. It's no question. It has to be a Brock Goldberg 3. Goldberg the first one. Goldberg come with the first one. Brock come with the second one. Then they had their blow off match at Mania. Man, it has to be a 3-part series.
Yeah. Goldberg's been doing a lot of interviews all over too, which is really good for him. Very happy for him. He seems really enthused. I don't see this guy doing one match being done. I know he's keeping it on the humble, saying, if they're able to work out something and blah, blah, blah. But I just don't see him doing one match. And I know his son's going to light up too. And I think in the eye of him losing gives him the perspective to say, like, he has to go back out and do it for his son.
Right.
So, no, Shane McMahon, WrestleMania is a no for me. You guys, yes or no?
Definitely no.
Randy Jackson, what is it for you?
Hey, look. Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. I feel like he's going to be involved some way, some.
We lost you, Randy Jackson. All right.
He's gone.
That's 2 for us. So that will be
American Idol.
We would not see him on American Idol.
No.
But that pretty much covers the men's whole ordeal for the team selections for SummerSlam, and I think I don't even know what to make of the tag team for Raw. I'm just gonna leave that alone.
That's hot garbage. The tag team one is hot garbage. I have no excitement for that one.
Yeah. I do like the fact that oh, you know what? Forget all that. Forget the SummerSlam team stuff. Let's talk about this stuff with the Miz, because I know we're getting close to our hour here.
The topic I love.
The Miz. Man, okay, so first off, I had to play a little bit of a rewinding of some comments made last week, I believe it was, where I forgot who it was. I wish I could remember the Twitter handle, but somebody was saying that Heath Slater was the best thing on SmackDown, and I was just like, what, did the Miz die or something? But as good as the Miz is as a wrestler, promos and everything, he always just seems to one up himself. And for the longest, I've been showing so much conflict on I'm not understanding how the draft actually worked and how people were signed, what are free agents and blah blah blah. And before the draft happened, Lita and Booker T all said this could happen, teams could get split, trades, blah blah blah. The word trade is in full effect right now on Talking Smack, where the Miz and Maurice. What was the terms again? I want to make sure I say it correctly.
I don't know the exact terms, because I still need to catch them on Talking Smack, but I did hear about it, but I don't know the exact terms that were used.
Okay, don't worry, because we're going to get that. We're going to get that right now. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, by the way, off brand, Matt Hardy was told by the government agencies that thousands of people voted for him to become U.S. president. Where in the world? When you're looking for something, you can't find it real quick. I just want to make sure I quote this correctly. But anyway, forget it. On another news too, Rhino did not win his election bid in Michigan, so I wanted to keep him around a little bit longer. So basically, the stipulation for next week's SmackDown is that if the Miz, who's challenging Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship, is that if the Miz loses, that he requests a trade.
Yeah.
And
okay.
What are we looking at as the implications is this? Because one, Dan Brown's like, sure. Which it has to be bogus to think that you can't just let the Miz go because he's one of the hottest people on your show. Of course, for the personal buildings and dislikings of him, he's like, sure, you could go. But what works here? I've seen a couple of people online say, like, the Miz for Cesaro will be great, which I'm like, man, I can get with that. But, I wanted to pass that around to you guys. What do you think?
I think this is all – I think it can be used as good trade bait, but you can't trade the Miz from SmackDown. What you can do is negotiate his contract or anything like that to make it more appealing, like you have your own run station from SmackDown. SmackDown's from Raw. So I really think this is good that we're trying to use this type of language, like you said, in the storyline aspects, because it's making the Miz an even better character. You might even hear the terms where the Miz is the highest paid SmackDown person of all time, like MVP used back in the day, eventually released and picked up by Raw, new signee and be the highest Raw paid player or whatever. It's great that they're using this with the Miz because it's just adding to his character.
Yeah, Dwayne, you want to get in there on that? What do you get from this? And you hit it on the head. You know, yeah, I like the word trade being involved here. You want to legitimize the shows as being separate shows. There was a draft, which is another sports term like trade. Free agents has already been thrown around. Like what else? But Dwayne and his bootleg internet. All right, back. I'm sorry. I apologize. Sorry, what do you get about the whole Miz trade to Raw? What do you take from the what do you get from that actually?
I'm just not sure yet. I feel like there's a legit chance that he might be traded, and for who, I don't know. It's kind of intriguing because I mean, it will open a lot of storylines on Raw. So, and then it gives you, for example, you heard Cesaro. It gives someone like Cesaro who deserves a shot to have a shot. He's not gonna get it. Definitely not gonna get it on Raw.
Yeah, I mean that tag team thing. Nobody's pretty sold on that. I mean, I did tweet that I'm getting a little bit more behind it, like the Team Hell No, so to say. But come on now, everybody rather have Cesaro on a singles title run being legitimized and being used the way he should be. And I think we've been like kind of protesting for a while to have Cesaro move to SmackDown because he should have been drafted there in the first place. And I just think it's a better look for him. Okay, so if Cesaro was the one traded, then what happens to Sheamus then? He just goes back on the heel singles run?
I don't know what happened to Sheamus. At this point, I really don't care.
Do you think Sheamus is picking up steam from this gimmick, from this tag team with Cesaro?
No.
Sellers? And another person with bad connection. You guys, man, you know what? I know what's going to happen next. I'm just going to have to put y'all on the family plan to make sure y'all connections are on par at all times. So anyway, before we close out for the night, next week is SmackDown's 900th episode, and the Undertaker is scheduled to make an appearance. What do we get from him?
I don't know. Maybe just an appearance. You know what? I take that back. This is probably where you're probably going to start sowing your seeds for a WrestleMania match, and I think it's going to be with Super Cena.
Well, I don't know how they're gonna set that up. I mean, when the next time is Cena supposed to make an appearance? I forgot. They said something about it.
I don't know when the next time is, but I won't be surprised if it's that 900th episode of SmackDown.
Yeah, you know, better yet, Cena always comes for the big one, so I won't be surprised if we see Cena like sometime soon anyway. To either save Team SmackDown, become relevant again, get back in the title picture for a little while. He cannot have a title and go against the Undertaker. You know, that just doesn't make sense because that title means it won't be defended then. So, you know, one of the other, I do think we see Cena make an appearance again soon because I don't think we can hold Cena off all the way to the Rumble, right?
No.
So, anywho, before we get out here for the day, Dwayne, it's been a little bit of a drought, but I guess since your man has been gone for a while, I think you may have to come up with a new reincarnation of the Cena Files and let it star your hubby Roman Reigns.
First of all, right now, you can always do a Cena Files. I mean, you can substitute it. I mean, it's just tough coming up. I mean, I could substitute it, but I mean, it just wouldn't be the same.
Do you watch Total Bellas at all? That's a real question.
You know what? I haven't watched it, but it's funny because like every time I watch the little promos for it, John Cena's just funny to me.
Yeah, John Cena is an interesting character on there. I have to say as much, but the insight you get from Brie and Daniel is what really steals it for me. So just wondering if you watched it, maybe that can cater towards your Cena monster pals. Because you know what, I just would not be surprised in like a year, John Cena gets his own show on E, like his own show. No Bellas, no Bryant, no John Laurinaitis, no nobody, just total Cena.
Oh man.
Oh man. Well, anyway.
Oh man.
Anyway, like I said, thanks for everybody who tuned in this week. All the Twitter interactions, keeping it fun. Just a small podcast crew, just trying to have a little fun, interact with people. Again, keep all the tweets and retweet and likes, all that. Keep it going, interact with us. Next week, we'll definitely try to do something a little bit more interactive. It's been a while since we had a fan on the show, so maybe we'll do something with that as well. We look forward to some booking on Survivor Series again, because I'm sure after the Goldberg Brock confrontation, something's going to change. And the Shane McMahon thing, I feel like there's a little smoke being thrown around there, so we'll see what happens with that. But again, like us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, follow us on Twitter or whatever. You know, our YouTube channel, all of that. Just like us, retweet, we follow back, all that. So again, appreciate everybody listening tonight. We'll catch y'all next week.